Can a person sue a former lover for a breach of promise to marry? Article 21 of the new Civil Code states that any person who willfully causes loss or injury to another in a manner that is contrary to morals, good customs, or public policy shall compensate the latter for the damage. In the case of GASHEM BAKSH versus Court of Appeals, here the woman filed a complaint for damages against her former lover for alleged violation of their agreement to get married. She alleges that she is a pretty lass of good moral character and reputation, duly respected in her community. The man, on the other hand, is an Iranian citizen and is an exchange student taking a medical course in the Gupan city. He courted and proposed to marry her. She accepted his love on the condition that they would get married. They therefore agreed to get married after the end of the school semester. He visited her parents in Pangasinan to secure their approval to the marriage. He forced her to live with him in the Lozano apartments. She was a virgin before she began living with him. A week before the filing of the complaint, his attitude towards her started to change. He maltreated and threatened to kill her. As a result of such maltreatment, she sustained injuries. During a confrontation with a representative of the barangay captain a day before the filing of the complaint, he repudiated their marriage agreement and asked her not to live with him anymore. And it turned out he was already married to someone living in Bacolod City. She then prayed for judgment, ordering the petitioner to pay her damages, reimbursement for actual expenses, attorney's fees, and costs. In his answer, he claimed that he never proposed marriage to or agreed to be married with her. He neither sought the consent and approval of her parents nor forced her to live in his apartment. He did not maltreat her, but only told her to stop coming to his place because he discovered that she had deceived him by stealing his money and passport. And finally, no confrontation took place with a representative of the barangay captain. After trial on the merits, the lower court, applying Article 21 of the new Civil Code, rendered a decision in favor of the private respondent. He appealed the trial court's decision to the Court of Appeals, which affirmed the trial court's decision. Unfazed, petitioner filed an appeal by certiorari before the Supreme Court. Now, the issue in this case is whether or not damages may be recovered for a breach of promise to marry on the basis of Article 21 of the new Civil Code. The Supreme Court upheld the ruling of the lower courts and stated that a breach of promise to marry per se is not an actionable wrong. However, where a man's promise to marry is in fact the proximate cause of the acceptance of his love by a woman, and his representation to fulfill that promise thereafter becomes the proximate cause of the giving of herself unto him in a sexual congress, proof that he had in reality no intention of marrying her, and that the promise was only a subtle scheme or deceptive device to entice her to accept him and to obtain her consent to the sexual act, could justify the award of damages pursuant to Article 21, not because of such promise to marry, but because of the fraud and deceit behind it and the willful injury to her honor and reputation which followed thereafter. It is essential, however, that such injury should have been committed in a manner contrary to morals, good customs, or public policy. In this case, petitioner's fraudulent and deceptive protestations of love for and promise to marry that made her surrender her virtue and womanhood to him, to live with him on the honest and sincere belief that he would keep said promise, and it was likewise these fraud and deception on her part that made her parents agree to their daughters living in with him, preparatory to their supposed marriage. In short, the private respondent surrendered her virginity, the cherished possession of every single Filipina, not because of lust, but because of moral seduction.